Hey folks, how's it going? Today I am talking about another game that was sent to me. I'm always super grateful and excited when someone is so kind to send me a copy of the game they've worked on for me to review. If you have a game you've been working on and you would like it to appear here, please get in touch. I'd love to at least hear what you've been working on. If you're not sure where to get in contact with me, I've popped some details in the description boxes of all my videos. Today's game is about mysterious space horrors and a growing sense of dread. This is The Midnight World. The Midnight World takes place in an alternative version of our Earth. This universe is surrounded by many dead universes. These universes either failed to begin or have now collapsed. In these dead universes are dread beings who are desperately seeking a way out. They're reaching through gaps to try enter our world. Their appearance and motivations are extremely mysterious. These dread beings will send through the gaps in the universe various minions to try fulfill their strange will. Or they might take over human minds to do their bidding. The sun never shines brightly on this Earth. The weather is often dangerous and unpredictable. Cities will fall to collapse overnight as tectonic plates manifest where they hadn't before. The player characters of this world are generally people who have experienced something strange in their past. Somehow, they have encountered something from beyond our universe. Now, they can't help but notice when dread beings are trying to move upon our world. Throughout this book, there are short vignettes about a character who encountered this something other and how it changed them. Making a character for this game can be done in 3 ways. You can build one using tables and random chance. There are also archetypes, which will make suggestions about how to rearrange scores and what potential abilities you should take. And there is the entirely from scratch method, where you customize and choose everything yourself. This game primarily uses dice pools for its main mechanic. You add the number that you have in the relevant attribute score to the number you have in a skill score, and you roll that number of dice. The dice you're rolling in this game are a d6. Your attributes are acumen, which is about knowledge and processing. Charisma, which are your people skills. Then there's strength, coordination, intuition, and resilience. Some of the skills you might be using in this game are things like composure, empathy, endurance, manipulation, mettle, reaction, toughness, vigilance, or wit. There's a lot to choose from. There are skills beyond these basic skills as well. In-game, these are called aptitudes. These are in a separate category because they represent skills that a character has actively worked on improving. There are a couple of pages of these, so I won't list them all for you. What is important to note is when you have an aptitude in something and you're rolling dice with it, you get to replace your d6 with a d8. Player characters in this game generally are pretty scarred by the events that they have gone through. This can manifest in trauma. When a character's trauma is triggered, it will have both an emotional and mechanical effect on the character. To counter this, there are also solace triggers, which tend to allow a character to recover or feel better. You also get to select things like a privilege and a challenge. A privilege is something that gives your character a slight advantage, and a challenge is a slight disadvantage. A key mechanic for anyone playing in a game of Midnight World to wrap their heads around is the midnight clock. This is represented on the character sheet as a clock face. As a character investigates the world around them or the enemies that they have, the more damage they're going to suffer. There is a second hand, a minute hand, and an hour hand. All of these have 12 positions to reach a full revolution. The second hand represents a character's in-the-moment desperate struggle to cope with the situation. Characters can willingly take on stress on the second hand to remove a bad die roll, to replace a die with a d8, or to remove a stress die. The minute hand is what tracks those stress die. If a character sees something particularly bad or a trauma is triggered, the minute hand can move forward. Every time the minute hand moves forward, a player might be forced to add a d4 to their dice pool. A D4 is always going to be below the success threshold in this game, and it could potentially replace good rolls with a bad roll. When this die replaces a D6 in the pool, it is a bad thing because this die is always below the success threshold. If you happen to get a 1 on the D4, it will cancel out a success on another die. The hour hand represents a character's acquisition of power and knowledge, but also their probable deterioration of their humanity. If the hour hand makes a full rotation, generally it's game over for that character. The smaller increments on this clock can also tick over into the larger ones. So a full rotation on the second hand can move the minute hand forward. So, as your character learns more and experiences more, the more danger that they're in. I have to say this is a system with a lot of interesting moving parts. I like that for a dice pooling game, there's a mechanic to introduce a better and a worse die into the pool. I have to say I really like some of the example dreads that the game manual goes through, who are these large sort of unknowable beings who are interfering in our world. The illustrations are super evocative and, yes, on the creepy side. You also get some examples of some minions that you can run against the players. Generally, these will be doing the dirty work of the dread beings. Not only are there supernatural beings, but the players could be up against other humans. There are cults that worship these dread beings, as well as the possibility of mind control. As this game covers a lot of dark psychological themes, the creators have taken care to include some disclaimers and some important writing on playing this game with some sensitivity. This is absolutely a good thing to do if you are running an intense horror-themed campaign. This game includes these guidelines so that you can still have fun while exploring these dark stories. I also have to say the general aesthetic of the book is really exciting to flick through. I would say if you find the mechanics of this game intriguing, then it's definitely one to pick up. While the clock face does sound intimidating to begin with, I think it's a really cool mechanic that really adds to this sense of growing dread as your characters learn and despair more. The setting is also really interesting and leans into a lot of interesting horror tropes. The most affordable print copy of this game is $40 US on DriveThruRPG. There are options for hardcover, color, premium color, so you can spend a bit more if you would like. Well, I just have to say this game is really intriguing. The world and the mechanics in it I think work really well together. In particular, I really want to highlight that clock mechanic again as something interesting and unique. So please, share your thoughts in the comments down below. While you're there, I encourage you to like, subscribe, maybe share with a friend. If you have a game that you're working on, please feel free to reach out and let me know if you would like me to review it. There is a bit of a delay as I'm working on getting a few games that I have been sent to review. There is a bit of a delay as I do have a lovely small pile of games that I am hoping to review, but I promise if you send a game, more likely than not, it's going to end up on this channel at some point. I also have a Ko-fi page where you can donate to this channel or just see the behind the scenes stuff of what I'm working on. I appreciate everyone's support just by watching and subscribing. I hope you're all well, and I look forward to seeing you next time at the gaming table. Bye!